Welcome to the BBC.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of the Between Both Cheeks podcast, the BBC. You can decide what that acronym is for. You got Becca and Luba today, and we're going to give you guys an update all about our photo shoot we just did.
Yeah, the Cancer Compassionate Model Search. This year we picked 2 because we had, what was it, like a 400% increase? 700, what was it?
800% increase of submissions. I think it was 455 people, something like
Wild.
that. Yeah.
Wild.
So it was a lot of people to go through. But as you'll learn as we talk about who we chose, if you did apply and you did not get chosen, or if you interviewed and you did not get chosen, do not let that stop you. Apply again. It's not personal. It just is not the right time. Because 1 out of our 2 models, Michelle Beck, she has applied every year that we've done it. And now look, she got it this year. So
I know.
the proof is in the pudding.
I loved her attitude. She was just like, I'm just going to keep applying like that. That was so pivotal for me because I think, everyone in whatever it is, when someone says no or the outcome is not what you want it to be, you just instantly give up and you have a bad taste in your mouth. Like, oh, it didn't work, or I'm a failure at this, or, this is never going to come to fruition. She kept such a good attitude. And seriously, like, look what happened. And I just have nothing else to say about it except just fill out the form. Fill out the form.
Yeah.
Keep applying. Don't give up. If this is something that you want, whether it's this or something else in your life, just push through and it will manifest itself.
Totally. And she manifested it too, because I remember in her interview, I said, "Are you available these dates?" And she said, "Well, I've had it on my calendar since I found out." And her husband saw it on the calendar and said, "Hey, what's this thing in Vegas?" And she was like, "I'm going to be the Bright 2024 model." And he was like, "What? Have you talked to them yet?" And she was like, "No, not yet, but I put it on my calendar, so I'm going." Like, she just knew. And we've met her online before the last couple of years. She's been on the podcast. We've been on her podcast. She's an author, very involved in the breast cancer community, but she never let the relationship with the brand dwindle and die. Like, she kept, just on social media, liking, commenting, like, she just stayed top of mind. So I think that's a great thing to do with anything you want. Like, just be persistent and kind and respectful, and, eventually you can wear someone down.
Yeah. It was really crazy. It was really beautiful to see that come to fruition completely.
Yeah, and it was so nice to meet her in person after being like internet acquaintances for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. When I meet these people, it's like I've known them forever.
Yeah. It's crazy. It didn't feel like we were meeting them for the first time.
Mhm. Yeah.
And our second model was Shivali McIntosh, or Shivali Hope, which is her middle name, which is just fabulous. And we had met her, not myself, but the brand, Luba and Rachel, had met Shivali at the Young Survivors Summit that was in Las Vegas earlier this year in February. Like with everyone you met that weekend, you got them to apply for the model search, and lo and behold, Shivali was one of the 2 people chosen out of almost 500. So I just love that. I know how special that makes someone feel, and I think it was the 2 right people. I think they needed to meet, and
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think there's something there that will happen.
And then, of course, in true Bright fashion, we found out that our photographer, Britt, her grandmother had just recently passed from cancer 3 months ago, was it? It was very, very recent. So again, something we didn't know, not the reason why we chose her, and a connection. Right? The same thing happened with the first photographer we used in New Zealand. The second photographer we used, that was intentional, Jen Rosenbaum from New York, who's a breast cancer survivor. It's amazing when you just allow the universe to do its thing. And there's just this other power that comes in when you're working with a photographer that has a gift.
Hmm.
It just brings the photographs to life in a completely next level.
Yeah. And it was so beautiful too for her. And she didn't tell us until the end
And
of the photo shoot. And she was like, this means a lot to me. I think this is my favorite work I've ever
yeah,
done because of my grandmother. And it just felt like so like kismet for her in that moment too. And
yeah.
like
And
how it was a really, really good day.
it just wrapped everything up in a perfect bow at the very end of the day, knowing that information. And I mean, we shot for 2 hours, just over 2 hours, maybe. I don't know about you, but I felt like we got a week's worth of work. And like that day was so highly emotional for me, and I wasn't expecting that to happen. But yeah, it felt like we got so much content. It felt like we were working on it for a week.
Yeah, we got like 300 plus images in 2 hours. So it's a lot to go through, and you guys will see some of the final photos start to come out this fall.
Yeah,
They look so beautiful. I kept saying, and like, we need to give ourselves more credit because it was a bright photo shoot, but I kept like looking at the images, the preview on the camera, and it was like it could have been a campaign for Dove, or like it was Calvin Klein, like it was that quality of images, and I mean, they're both so beautiful and such strong, vibrant personalities, and I think they brought out like the best in each other too. You know, they just met, so to
yeah.
be in your underwear in front of a camera can already be nerve-wracking, and then to be doing it with someone you just met, like it was really amazing to see like it was just all supportive and positive energy, and like yeah, it was just so good. You guys are gonna love it.
And I might be biased here, but I'm going to give us a bit of a plug that we have always had that at all of our photo shoots. And I think it's because of what we stand for and our story, and that we truly practice what we preach. And energy does not lie. So there's a reason why, we've worked with tons of models, and the majority of them we don't know until like they show up that day. They are comfortable with us to be nude or to be in bras and underwear or just talk, like whatever that looks like, whatever is needed. It's not necessarily planned out. We do have a storyboard and like a vision and idea, but it literally just the magic happens in front of the camera. And I think that's a huge part of the culture and the brand that we've created a safe space for women.
Hmm. Totally. And we play music, and like it's not weird that you're naked. It's just, and I think it helps that everyone's the same gender too. Like, it's like when you go to a public swimming pool, there's all these naked women in the change room. Like, it's just not a sexualized thing because we all have the same anatomy as well. Like, I just don't think that there's certain companies that like could be such a comfortable space to do that in.
Amen.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So that's what we were working on. We just got off Long Beach as well.
Yes, oh my gosh, those were 2 weekends back to back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
saw us in Long Beach, hello, all your packages are shipped out now. So
Yes.
you
All
should have
that.
packing.
Yeah. And then we had a little visit with our brand partners after the photo shoot as well. The Chippendales, we went and dropped by there because how could we not when we were in the area? So yeah, it's been absolutely nonstop. And then the team is off to Sacramento this
It's next
weekend.
week.
Next week. It's been wild, you guys. It's been nonstop. Even when we have a small break, we seem to fill it very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. It is good. I mean, and like the skin lightening and the skin brightening side that we're known for. I mean, Luba's sweater, she's wearing a sweater that says anal bleach on it right now. That's kind of how we got our footing and what we're known for. But that fuels this other side of the business with our Cancer Compassionate line that allows us to do this amazing work and make a difference in real people's lives. You know what I mean? It's so nice to have two sides of the coin. You've got like the fun on the outside. It's like a mullet, business in the front, party in the
Running in the
back.
back.
Yeah. But
Very true.
so that's what you guys like when you support a brand, when you support Bright and you purchase from Bright, these are the things, the campaigns and the missions that you're helping facilitate. So just thank you guys for all of your orders, and the products are amazing, so it's not like you're getting nothing in return, but it's nice to know, at least for myself, and I think it's generational, and with the internet too, just more awareness of how our purchases, where our dollar goes and impacts. So it's nice to know that when you're purchasing a product from a company, like what they're doing with that money.
And that's why I always say, before you give your money to someone, do a little bit of research on what they stand for. If they're doing good in the world, if they're just maybe not doing the best in the world. If there's a reason behind the brand and what they do and who they're affiliated with charities, and if they are affiliated with charities, like what do they actually do with these charities, or is it just a logo that they got to put on their website because they wrote a check? I think that's important. And Shivali had said to me at the shoot, like, you're literally changing lives.
Yeah.
Right?
So good. And speaking of charities, Shivali has her own charity. If you want to check that out, it's called Purpose on Purpose. And you can look that up online and see what she's doing there. I knew it was just so like meant to be how everything had happened, because Luba and I just went and saw It Ends With Us in theaters. I've read the book. It's a Colleen Hoover book. And that touches on the topic of, well, it doesn't touch, it's basically about domestic violence. And this charity that Shivali has is to support survivors and victims of domestic violence. So it was just like, we just watched this movie the 2 days before, and then we meet Shivali and she's telling us about the work that she does with her nonprofit charity. And I was just like, it was so top of mind, like thinking about the impact of what it would be like to be in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just a shout out to Dana. I forgot to message from Anna Ono that generously again donated all of the lingerie and clothes for the shoot that you will see. So yeah, everything just always just comes together, you guys. Just put it out in the universe and it really truly does come together.
Yeah, totally. So that's our updates. I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon. If you have a topic you'd like us to cover, a guest you'd like to see on the podcast, question, business advice, you can send us an email to podcast@brightenup.com, and you can follow us on social media at Between Both Cheeks Podcast. Make sure you are subscribed and write a review. Rate us 5 stars. It really helps the podcast out more than anything. And we will see you next time. Ciao. That's the first time you haven't said goodnight. Luba's a new woman, you guys.
Stay tuned. You know.
More to come.